Oh, apparently we spawned an enemy.
And that's when the fun really starts. And you have so many choices when you're actually coming up to your enemy. The first one is position. How do you want to take the engagement? Close, medium, or far? And to a certain extent, you also get to choose the weapons that you're going to be taking into battle. The composition that you make up during your loot and run is going to affect how you're going to be taking gunfights. And for all the differences on the approach, the weapons, the mechanics, your abilities, aiming is always the same. And at some point you're going to need to realize that this is about as close to being dizzy as you're going to get. So let's not start getting into superhuman comparisons, because a lot of you guys will just never hit that. Most of you will end up actually looking something like this. We'll pull out a Wingman and do this. But eventually we make it work. We're just not going to be half as consistent as he is. So for the moments that work out for you, great. For the moments that don't, let's try to improve on those. The first thing that you're going to want to do is tweak your settings. And this doesn't matter if you're on PC or console. I don't think you should just copy anybody's settings, because usually that's not going to work very well for you. You can use them as a general guideline, but initially what you want to do is just pay attention to your own gameplay and think about problems like this. When you're really close and you're trying to aim at someone down sights, are you able to track them? If they are always getting ahead of you, then it means that you are behind and you're going to need to increase your sensitivity. If you're missing your targets that long, it's because your sensitivity is too high. What you really want to strive for is that balance between your long distance and your short distance engagements. So if you are somebody that typically likes to go more close up and personal, you may want to tweak your sensitivity slightly on the high end. Scopes are also related to sensitivity, because when you have a high zoom, your sensitivity is going to be lower, or at least feel that way. So depending on your sensitivity, you may have an inability to drag scope with snipers. So that's something that you want to pay attention to. If you know that you're somebody with a low sensitivity, just be ready to account for that in snipers. It usually means that you won't be able to go up close and personal and no scope or quick scope or do anything like that. You're just going to be using it as a regular sniper. I'm sure some of you have also noticed how the different scopes vary in their ADS times. Usually the longer range scopes are going to be slower versus the 1 time to 2 times. I'm really into these variable scopes. I just find them so useful. And one of the things that I kind of got into the habit of doing if I have the backpack inventory is taking 2 scopes on an AR. When you get into those long distance battles, it makes shooting so much easier if you can switch over to something like a 4.6 versus a 2.3 or a 1.2 or whatever else you got going on like that. It just means that you have a little bit of extra options, and that can make aiming a lot easier for you if you have the right scope. Alright, so far we've talked about your settings, your sensitivity, and scopes, which kind of plays around with your sensitivities. And now I want to talk a little bit about the weapons. All the weapons do have their own unique recoil pattern, but I found that the best way to use your weapons is typically in single fire or just little bursts, so you don't end up going into that full recoil pattern, because at that point it's very hard to control. It's just so much more accurate. Check out the Spitfire with a little bit of tap fire. This is a lot better, and that's the same thing that I usually do with my Hemlock these days, unless I'm shooting it up close, in which case I will take the 3 burst. But you do have so much control if you're just going to burst your automatic weapons or feather the trigger. I'm actually surprised that they give you that preview on the throw. I think you should have to eye those out. So what's your opinion on the Wingman? I don't think it's overpowered, but I can see how strong it is when you just have amazing aim. But the fact is, you have to earn that aim. So while we may not all be as talented as Dizzy, I think we should still try to be better. And sometimes it's just a matter of believing. You've already seen what's possible. We've seen him play, and that's what I've always been an advocate of. He's a better player than me, so I watched him and I'm like, okay, that's what's possible? Well, I'm going to work towards that. But I'm also going to be realistic with what I can do. This is a classic mistake on losing gunfights. You get to drop on a team and you kill one guy and you automatically start going for the second guy instead of taking better positioning. If you don't have good aim, you're prolonging the fight by taking less damage, so you can at least shoot more for all your misses. Try to make them miss as well. That's the second part of gunfights. It's not only hitting your target, but it's also dodging fire yourself. And that doesn't mean that you just have to be in the back head glitching or just taking regular cover. You can also mix in slides and close distance and be super aggressive while making yourself hard to hit. Some people are very good at strafing. In this game, you want to strafe, slide, jump, crouch, climb. climbing's really good in this game. Throw it all in. And this is all about just staying alive. That's what this full clip's about. It's like, first you have to guarantee your own safety before you can start helping your teammates. There is a lot of strength between team shooting, but that's when you're in a coordinated team and you know that people are going to be playing in the same style you are, that you guys have the same priority. If you're amazing, go lone wolf. If you're dizzy, you go do that. But the thing is that the majority of you aren't, so you're going to have to play a little bit more cautiously and a little bit more realistic. I think you guys should take the time to try to learn some of the more skilled weapons. You want to learn how to tap fire and burst fire your Hemlock, or single fire your Hemlock, burst fire your Spitfire. Get into the habit of actually getting good with the Wingman, because I think it is here to stay. I can see maybe a small tweak just to shake up the meta, but that may still be like another month away. I think for now they're going to let this game marinate a little bit longer. So the point of this clip was mainly to show you how I'm trying to stay alive, and then I'm going to start focusing on the revives and grabbing the crates once it's actually safe to do so, because too many people throw away their lives trying to go for revives. I got shit for it in one of the videos. You guys were like, I can't believe you didn't get the banner. Well, you know what? There was actually no way to respawn them anyways, and some of you guys thought I should have ran in there for the revive. Well, you know what? I don't agree with that, and I don't think many people want you to play like that anyways, because it's just not smart. But there are times when a clutch revive is going to win you the game or get you back into an engagement. But that always has to be made on an individual basis. No two scenarios are the same. Look how many guys are right now. Like, this is ridiculous, actually. I can't believe I got his banner there. I don't think that guy saw me. Okay, the smoke isn't that good. Like, you can run into smoke and see guys in close range. Or you can have the legendary ×1 scope, and you're also going to be able to aim through smoke. So what else can I tell you guys about aiming? Well, I think you guys are just going to have to get good at it by doing it. I think even recoil patterns are kind of dumb. Like, there's a feel to it. I've never been somebody that shoots at walls to show people, oh, look how it shoots, so this is what you're going to have to do. Like, when aiming, like, I'm not paying attention to the pattern of the gun. I'm paying attention to where the guy is moving. The patterns on wall when you shoot a gun to see it spread isn't going to take into account, is the guy jumping, is he strafing, is he sliding, you know, all these movements as you're tracking from close and far. It changes everything. The best thing to do is get a feel for the gun that you use, and usually try to take a little bit of extra control by knowing when to burst fire it and when to fire it slowly and when to just let it fly. At long distance, you typically have to take your time a little bit more, space out your shots to let the recoil settle down. At close distance, you can take shots off the hip like I am now. That lets you keep up your speed when you're strafing and makes you harder to hit, right? That's the two sides of doing these gun battles. You're taking less damage and you're inflicting more damage yourself. So it's a two-way street. So even if somebody's really good at aiming, maybe they're bad at positioning. Like, don't think everybody is going to be at the standard of Dizzy where they're just always going to shoot you up. Sometimes a matter of winning a gunfight is just confidence and being like, you know what, I'm better. I'm not going to be hiding in the back trying to shield up while this guy starts charging you. Maybe you want to be aggressive, or maybe you at least want to be peeking the corner so when he comes you can get the first shot off. All I'm saying is don't be afraid and commit to some of your decisions. And if you're not committed and you see the scenario change, remember you can change your gun in this game really quick. Some people are saying that it's a glitch to tap your crouch after changing your guns to make the animation faster between the change. To me, it may just be an extra step that adds a little extra skill. I'm kind of conflicted on that because I like things that add extra mechanics and people can do them. Like, it's available for everybody, but it's an extra action that you have to take. What's your opinion on it? I personally wouldn't mind if it stayed. I like that somebody else's drone can heal you too. It apparently has no preference for enemies or friendlies. It'll just charge up anybody in the vicinity, which I think is kind of weird. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be, but that's the way it is. I like fighting in the storm, particularly the first storm, because you know that you're not going to be taking much damage, which means that you can actually still do flanks. So, some of the trickiest flanks come out of the storm, actually, where people wouldn't expect you. In the end game, you can't be in there very long, so if you're going to try some sort of weird flank off of that, then you have to make sure that you're going to be doing it quickly. I just wanted to show this because it just shows that one of the parts about winning gunfights is actually having full health, full shields. So if you're going to be healing up, try to be in a slide as you're positioning yourself because, well, it's just that much better, right? Being able to move fast while healing is huge. Lifeline as well, right? Healing that fast just helps in gunfights. Like, this character is so good for gunfights. Are we also going to take hitboxes into account when we're talking about winning gunfights? I heard that Pathfinder, which is personally my favorite character, has a huge hitbox, and I'm like, that kind of sucks, because it means when you're head glitching and they're trying to hit you, it actually may make it a little bit easier for them to ding you in the head, just because most people are usually going to just overspray over your head, and apparently on Pathfinder it'll end up hitting you. So I can see them fixing that up if it wasn't too much work. But I can't see that being a priority right now. I'm sure they're looking for their battle pass and to see what they're going to be adding into the game and making the final tweaks for that. I can hear footsteps, and again, just being prepared for a gunfight is a big part of being ready to win it. If you don't know somebody's around, well, you're going to have a hard time. Having our wraith around when you're rounding corners, maybe they already know that somebody's close and they're going to be calling it out. So I want to make this engagement because I know he's weak. He could have actually been sliding down this hill and healing up, which probably would have been pretty slick. And practically anything can be used as cover. But I think the thing that gets people is that cover isn't a dome. Like, it's not going to protect you 360 degrees. And the most common thing that I see in this game is that when somebody starts shooting on the map, people instantly go to it, and I think that's great, but a lot of people end up walking into the middle of the fight and all of a sudden you're flanked and then you're dead. So you have to make sure that you're not putting yourself in the middle of all these gunfights, because then you're not going to win. That's just a fact. You need to at least be clearing as you're moving up, because if you get shot in the back, it doesn't matter how skillful you are, you're probably going to die if you have people shooting at you from multiple angles and you have no cover. But you may have some cover. You're Bangalore, you're using your smoke, you're also using your extra speed from getting hit in order to reposition and put yourself in safety. So these ultimates, even I don't even know the guy's name with the shield right now. I have not even used them yet. I'm not really into characters like that. But his dome can give you an out for a little bit, and then you combine that with Bangalore. Then if you have smoke, then you can hightail it. So there are certain classes that will let you do risky positioning moves like that. Even the grapple actually gets you out, but so does Wraith. Actually, a lot of the characters have one-offs that will get you out of trouble. Lifeline has the faster healing, so that's going to keep you alive longer in a gunfire. Use the abilities that your characters have to stay alive longer for gunfights. Don't go all in all the time. Sometimes you see a guy and you go straight up, and you may be able to take the gunfight, but if you want to guarantee it, give yourself some cover. And it doesn't hurt to have the best weapon for the situation. Right there, having the R99 was perfect for me. So play the weapon to its strengths and play to your own strengths. After that, tweak your settings a bit, see what feels right, and go from there. If you're still here, it's time to support the channel. Hit that like button, leave a comment. I'm always interested in hearing what you guys have to say. We're going to be doing more Apex Legends, more Titanfall, and definitely a lot more grappling, because we have not been getting our quota of grappling in. And since we can do it in both games, we will.